You wake up and it's already there. Before you check your phone. Before you say a word to anyone. That low hum in your chest that something is wrong or about to be wrong. Maybe it's a meeting you're dreading. Maybe it's a relationship that feels unstable. Maybe it's money, or futuri, or just this vague, heavy feeling that you can't name but you can't shake either. That's anxiety. And here's what nobody tells you about it. Anxiety is not a modern disease. It is an ancient human experience. Marcus Aurelius felt it. Seneca wrote about it in detail. Epictetus built an entire philosophy around how to defeat it. These men lived in a world with real problems: war, plague, political betrayal, death at every corner. And they developed 5 specific habits, not theories, not ideas. Habits that dismantled anxiety at the root. That's what this video is about. Stay with me. Before we get to the habits, let's be clear about what we're dealing with. The Stoics didn't use the word anxiety, but they had a word for it. Epithemia, excessive desire. Phobos, fear of what's coming. They described anxiety exactly the way modern psychology does, as a mind that is living in the future instead of the present, catastrophizing, running worst-case scenarios, treating imagined threats as real ones. Seneca said it plainly: we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Think about how true that is. Most of the things you have been anxious about in your life have never happened. And the ones that did happen, you handled them because you always do. But your mind doesn't know that. Your mind is wired to scan for danger constantly. It's a survival mechanism that hasn't been updated since we were running from predators. The Stoics understood this, and they built habits specifically designed to interrupt that cycle. Here are the 5. Marcus Aurelius did not wake up and scroll every morning before the demands of the day hit him and remember. This man was running an empire, managing armies, and handling political enemies. He sat with his thoughts first. He wrote in his meditations. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. Now, that sounds like a dark way to start your day. But that's not what he was doing. He wasn't being pessimistic. He was being prepared. The Stoics practiced something called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Before the day began, they would mentally rehearse what could go wrong, not to fill themselves with dread, but to strip the difficulty of its power, to surprise them. Because here's the thing about anxiety. Most of it comes from being caught off guard. When something hard happens and you weren't prepared for it, your nervous system panics. But when you've already thought through the hard thing, when you've already asked yourself what's the worst that could actually happen here, and how would I handle it? The hard thing loses its teeth. How to apply this? Every morning, before you touch your phone, spend 5 minutes doing this. 1, write down the one thing you're most anxious about today. 2, ask, what is the actual worst-case scenario here? 3, ask, if that happens, what will I do? 4, ask, is this within my control or outside it? That last question is the key, and we'll come back to it in habit 2. But just doing this exercise, every morning naming the anxiety, examining it, preparing for it takes away most of its power before your day even starts. The anxiety lives in the vague. The moment you make it specific, it shrinks. This is the core of Stoic philosophy and the most direct weapon against anxiety. Epictetus opened his Enchiridion, his handbook for life, with this: "Some things are within our power, while others are not." Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion. Not within our power are our body, our property, reputation, office. He wrote that as the very first thing, not buried in chapter 7, the first thing, because he understood that the source of almost all human suffering is spending energy on things you cannot control. Think about what you're anxious about right now. Is it what someone thinks of you? Not in your control. Is it whether a business idea will work out? Partially in your control, the effort is. The outcome isn't. Is it the economy? Not in your control. Is it your health? Partially your habits are in your control. The results aren't guaranteed. Is it whether someone loves you back? Not in your control. The daily control audit is simple. Every morning or evening, write down what's worrying you. Then next to each item, write one word of mine or not mine. Mine means it's within your power. You can act on it. Not mine means it's outside your power. You can act on it. Not mine means it's outside your power. You're just released. Not ignore it, but release your garnet. Here's what most people do. They spend 80% of their mental energy on the not mine column. The Stoic habit is to flip that. Pour your energy into what you can actually change. Let go genuinely. Let go of what you cannot. This is not passive. This is not giving up. This is the most disciplined mental move a person can make. Because every minute you spend anxious about something outside your control is a minute stolen from something you could actually do something about. This one is counterintuitive, but it might be the most powerful habit on this list. Seneca regularly practiced what he called voluntary poverty. He would spend several days living as if he had nothing in food, simple clothing, comfort, luxuries, not because he had to. He was one of the wealthiest men in Rome. He did it by choice. Why? He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" In other words, he was deliberately confronting the thing he feared losing. And every time he did, he discovered the same thing. I can handle this. It's not as bad as I thought. This is what anxiety does not want you to know. Anxiety survives by making the feared thing feel impossible to survive. It tells you, if that happens, you won't be okay. You won't cope. You'll fall apart. Voluntary discomfort calls that bluff. When you regularly choose small doses of difficulty, cold showers, fasting, skipping comfort, doing the hard thing before the easy thing, you are training your nervous system with evidence. Evidence that you are more capable than your anxiety claims. How to apply this? Pick one small discomfort to practice this week. 1. Wake up 30 minutes earlier than usual. Skip 1 meal. Don't check your phone for the first hour of your day. Do the task you've been avoiding for a week today. The specific discomfort doesn't matter that much. What matters is that you choose it and you follow through. Every time you do, you are telling your nervous system, I am in charge here. Not the fear. Marcus Aurelius was not journaling for an audience. The Meditations, the book that has shaped philosophy, leadership, and psychology for nearly 2,000 years, was a private document. He was talking to himself, catching his own thinking, holding himself accountable. He wrote things like, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These weren't motivational quotes he was writing for a poster. These were reminders he needed to hear himself say. Because even Marcus Aurelius, emperor, philosopher, the most powerful man alive, drifted. I got anxious. I got angry. Got consumed by things he couldn't control. And writing brought him back. Here's why journaling kills anxiety specifically. Anxiety lives in your head as a fog. Vague, heavy, everywhere. The moment you write it down, it becomes a sentence. A specific thought. Something you can look at outside of yourself. And when you look at anxious thoughts on paper, something interesting happens. They often look smaller, more manageable, sometimes even a little ridiculous. The Stoics used writing to practice what they called the view from above, stepping outside themselves and observing their situation from a distance. The way you'd look down at a city from a plane. Everything that felt enormous from the inside looks different from up there. How to apply this? 3 writing prompts. Do these when anxiety hits, or every evening. 1. What am I actually worried about right now? Write it out completely. Don't edit. 2. Is this thought true? What's the evidence for and against it? 3. What would I tell a close friend who was thinking this exact thought? That last one is powerful, because we are far kinder and clearer with our friends than we are with ourselves. Write the way you'd advise someone you love. Then take your own advice. This is the Stoic habit that most people misunderstand. Memento Mori, Latin for remembering that you will die. And before you click off, hear me out. This is not morbid. This is not dark for the sake of being dark. This is the single most clarifying practice the Stoics left us. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Seneca wrote entire essays on the shortness of life, not to depress his readers, to wake them up. Here's what Memento Mori does to anxiety. When you genuinely sit with the fact that your time is limited, that this day will not come back, that the people you love will not always be here, that even your problems have an expiry date, something shifts. The thing you were anxious about this morning starts to look different. Will this matter in 5 years? Will you even remember this worry in a year? Is this the thing you want to spend the limited hours of this particular day on? Most of the time, the answer is no. Anxiety takes small things and makes them feel enormous and permanent. Memento Mori takes enormous things and returns them to their actual size. It's not that your problems don't matter. It's that when you see them inside the context of a finite life, you stop letting them steal time they don't deserve. How to apply this? Once a day morning works. Best spend 60 seconds with this thought. I will not live forever. This day is one I will not get back. What do I want to do with it? That's it. 60 seconds. You don't need to dwell on death. You just need to let the awareness of it touch your day long. Enough to reset your perspective. The Stoics, who did this consistently, reported the same thing: not sadness, not fear. Clarity. Let me bring this together. 5 habits. Let's name them one more time. 1. Morning preparation. Name the anxiety before it names you. 2. The daily control audit. Mine or not mine? Pour energy only into what's yours. 3. Voluntary discomfort. Choose small hard things so big hard things lose their power. 4. Journaling. Get the fog out of your head and onto paper where you can see it clearly. 5. Memento Mori. Let the shortness of life put your anxiety back in its proper size. None of these require a therapist, a supplement, or a perfect life situation. They require a decision every day to meet your mind with intention instead of letting it run unchecked. The Stoics were not calm because their lives were easy. They were calm because they practiced every single day the habits that produced calm. That practice is available to you right now, in whatever season you're in. Start with one habit this week. Just one. And if this video helped you see anxiety differently, subscribe to the Stoic Path. Every week we bring you philosophy that doesn't just sound good on paper. Philosophy that actually works when life gets hard. Share this with someone who needs it tonight. If this video found you at the right moment, you already know someone else who needs it. Send it to them.